I was enjoying the Rockets and Spurs series from 1995 and thought I should share some moments of it with you. This is just from the first few minutes of the first quarter of the game I was watching. Let's talk about some things that I saw. We're going to start with traveling calls.
Flanks a pair. Corey down inside to a team against Robinson. This is the matchup. Elliott double teaming from behind. They call the travel on the Dream.
Now, unlike most teams, people involved did not depend only on Olajuwon and Drexler.
There's the matchup again, and that's each time now the Dream centers. Olajuwon for Houston and Robinson for San Antonio have been called for traveling. Robinson stealing the rebound from Olajuwon, but he calls for traveling. Robinson on the drive. Tried to switch hands. He's called for traveling. That's two traveling fouls as Robinson tried to take it down the lane.
As I said, this is just the beginning of the game, and I realized I've seen more traveling calls in the first few minutes of this game than I've seen in the NBA all of 2025, 2026, while also seeing fewer steps being taken. More traveling calls while the players are taking fewer steps. Let's take a closer look at these. The Dream is known for his footwork, so he's a good place to start. There's his second and last dribble. Pivot foot, big step, brings a step over. I guess he took another small step with the right foot. I don't know. I mean, it might be traveling. The thing is, it's so far away from what they call today. Let's take this example from my breakdown of Game 4 of LeBron being swept again. This is a no call. And guess what? That's not even the real travel, but that's more steps in between dribbles right there than the guys in 95 got away with. Now here comes the real travel. Compare that to what Olajuwon just got called for. And that was a no call, by the way. And Rudy's face says it all. Are you drinking soda? Are you actually drinking freaking soda? All right, it's the Admiral's turn to get called. Dribble, step, step, step. That just proves 3 steps is not allowed. Today, we would call this first one the gather step, right? Not that one, but we're going to call that right foot the gather step. The left foot he stepped on somebody, but it's still a step. And then there's another step. That's all 3. And that wasn't allowed. So obviously the gather step is something that you made up. Sorry, David. Imagine what you could score in today's game. Poor David gets called a lot in this game. He gets called again here. There's a dribble, step, awkward step. I think it was an awkward step because he ran into the defender's leg, but I still only counted 2. How many did you guys count? Unless they're saying he took a mini step with his right foot before that big long one with the left, which still would put him at 3 maximum. Focus on his right foot. Kind of a step there with that dribble, but was it before or after the dribble? In any case, we're talking about counting that tiny step to get to 3. Fanboys must be very confused watching this analysis right now based on today's rules. They're like, what are you talking about? He's got 3 more steps to take after that. That's a pretty tough call. And look how mild David Robinson's reaction is. LeBron James would have the ref in a body bag. I just realized another sad difference between today's game and these past games. When Robinson makes contact with Olajuwon's leg, if it was today, he would just fall down. Just get the call. Oh, God, I felt the defender fall to the ground. Anyway, here's the Admiral getting called again. Don't fanboys try to say that if you lose control of the ball, then the dribble starts over? I mean, they've said some pretty crazy stuff to me when they're trying to explain why LeBron James took 9 steps. I don't know if a defender touched that or if he just was fumbling the ball, but in any case, if that was 2026, that play would still be going on. In fact, they'd be praising him for his ball handling skills. Let's look at the beginning again. I want to see if Olajuwon touches this. He may have gotten him on the arm. He might be touching the ball right there, which I'm not so sure that means you get to start over. But in any case, he's picking it up. He's fumbling it. And I swear to God, fanboys say, well, if you're a bad ball handler, you get to keep trying until you get it or something. Okay, this time we're going to look at good footwork that was not called for traveling. And it's Hakeem the Dream with the Dream Shake.
8 points. If you let him keep the ball in his left hand from coast to coast, he's going to score. You got to make him cross over. Beautiful move. Beautiful move. And making this team better. Watch Olajuwon show the ball to David Robinson. He bites into the fake, and Hakeem gets the layup.
All right, this angle first, I'm going to zoom in and then slow down. And remember, David Robinson is known as an excellent defender. Dribble and a step, step, step. He's keeping that left pivot foot, and that was it. He kept his left pivot foot, so he was allowed to rotate like that and then jump to finish. Pretty convincing fake. You see David got faked out of his shoes there. You even heard me say step 3 times, but the third one is him just bringing that leg back around. As long as you have your pivot foot, you can move your other foot as many times as you want. You can do a one-footed tap dance. Point being, that right leg that is stretched out there, he could keep moving, trying to put that right foot on the ground anywhere he wanted to, as long as he doesn't move the left one again.
It's going to be a matchup that they have to win. This is one that Houston has to win. Clyde Drexler, this time Sean Elliott.
They're 7-5. They had to go to game 7 before they could even get to this.
Clyde the Glide doesn't get enough credit, and I don't know if this is one of his most amazing plays. Obviously it isn't, but the lean in gives us a talking point. By the way, he's not carrying the ball there. He keeps his hand on top of the ball, and here comes the spin move. And in order to get this past Sean Elliott's D, he's really got to lean his body in. That was the difference maker. But what I want to talk about is the fact that despite the lean and despite the difficulty of the shot, he stayed on his feet. Guys today never stay on their feet. It's almost like default that they're going to fall down if they attempt a layup. This is a separate play. I just kept it in there. Boy, did he get to that rim fast.
Sean Elliott will really struggle against Drexler that far away from the basket.
Elliott with the penetration. 5 on the shot clock. Kenny Smith, that's a 2. Won't fall. Rodman with his second rebound.
I'm just enjoying the different camera angle. You can see the speed of the game, the ball movement. Everybody's involved. Kenny Smith misses this, but look at that rebound by Rodman. I mean, Rodman's had some fantastic rebounds in his day. I think I want to point out the fact, and I'll just wait until we get to it to talk too much. If he doesn't rip that ball down the way that he did, Robert Horry is getting that rebound. Look at Robert Horry. He's up there. And I think he even hits Dennis on the arm. And Dennis leads the fast break. That might just be the still frame making it look like he's hitting him. But look at Horry. Horry got up. Horry was a dunker. A lot of people don't remember that about Robert Horry because he's known for his big game shots. But that was an athletic guy. How different is this defensive rebound by Dennis Rodman compared to today's ridiculous joke rebounds that really shouldn't even count as rebounds?
Rebound James. He's got 4 already.
Got to get going if they're going to win this series.
Leaking out on the break. Kenny Smith blocked by David Robinson. What an incredible play.
In this play to get it to go. And he tracked down a guy who was one of the better athletes in the league. His team.
And David Robinson, who has 3 points early, has 11.
That really was a great block. And look at the big man run the floor. The announcer said that Kenny Smith was one of the more athletic guys in the league. He was an athlete. But this block, the timing, the ability to not commit the foul, that's beautiful.
Picked up this technical foul. He thought David Robinson committed the offensive foul. I agree with him on that.
He had a wipeout with his right arm.
Here's another one that shows how differently the game is officiated now. They called the foul on Olajuwon, which kind of a light call for back then. Olajuwon didn't like it. He even reacted. But the announcers got on the refs. The ref said, no, that should have been an offensive foul. Now, you can be confused for two reasons at this point. The fact that the announcers actually called out the refs, and the fact that that's called an offensive foul. They think that's an offensive foul, which back then it was. You couldn't create space like that. You couldn't dislodge. You couldn't lower your shoulder. And David definitely dipped his shoulder pretty low there, but look at how Hakeem recovered and still made a great attempt on that ball. My God. I'm curious how big the divide is between old school NBA fans and new ones. Do you think that's an offensive foul, or do you think that's a defensive foul? Or no call, even?
The pass wasn't on the mark, so Drexler had to take it over to the corner and knock down the jumper. No problem.
Had Clyde Drexler to try to slow him down, and Clyde has taken the ball away from the basket. He has posted up. He has done it all. Here Doc Rivers gets him on.
Nothing too crazy. It looks crazier from that angle, but from the slow motion angle, it's just another chance to see that Drexler has other things in his bag other than gliding to the rim.
Robinson, his first field goal of the night.
Yeah, he had a rough start to the game, but there we go. That's a very good looking turnaround jumper by the big man. Dude, look at his arms. That's crazy.
I mean, this, percentage-wise, is such a low percentage shot. I mean, this is the shot you dream of forcing guys to take. Everyone except Olajuwon. And there's just a little touch on the elbow.
Now for Olajuwon. There's that turnaround baseline jumper, and he's fouled. Olajuwon heating up. He has 12 with an opportunity for 13. Dennis Rodman.
So we end with a great defender on a great offensive machine. Olajuwon is a great defender also, but Rodman just nicks him on the elbow, but he gets called for it. And I included this part at the end to show how mellow Rodman's response is. I mean, he said something, but geez, that's model behavior compared to today's face of the league behavior. I mean, watch the nick on the elbow if you can see it. Woo. That's a tough call. I mean, he may have gotten him. Olajuwon made it anyway. I'm just saying, Rodman isn't just controlling himself when he knows he's guilty here. That was a pretty tough call. LeBron James would be going absolutely berserk. He'd be grabbing the ref, assaulting the ref, screaming in the ref's face. And Dennis Rodman at the time was known as the bad guy. This guy is who you don't behave like. Don't let your kids grow up to be like Dennis Rodman. And yet, compared to LeBron James, he's a model citizen here. Yeah, I know, that was short, but you might have noticed that the quality of that was good. It was upscaled and enhanced, and I am preparing the entire game for you to watch in that upscaled, enhanced format. So take a look at that if you enjoyed watching this.